Okay, still on my quest to find more little micro FPV quads that people can get into the hobby and sort of take them on a bit, and then they can move on to the bigger stuff sort of thing. So I've reviewed several of them and I've enjoyed loads of them, but I actually enjoyed looking through them all as well, so the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. This is a company I've never heard of even, and certainly not come across reviewing any of theirs. It's Myra Robot, and this is the S60 FPV. Comes with a normal sort of gaming style transmitter, very familiar, and they've actually badged it all up themselves. So running through the quad itself, it's, as you can see, 4-bladed props on it. It's called an S60, but the actual measurement from motor centre to motor centre is 65mm, and I'm not too sure whether the 60 refers to the fact that it's got 6mm motors. They're 6mm by 15s. You've got a FPV system on there, and they do one without the FPV. It's just literally a quad, and you just have a little light there instead. So there'll be links to both down in the description, but it's the FPV bit I'm really interested in. The actual camera and the transmitter are separate, so the transmitter's laying along here and the actual camera electronics are directly behind the lens there. So it's not a sort of complete built-in VTX system, so I'm not too sure whether there's benefits either way with that, but that's just the way it is. You can access to change the frequency in the band down in here, so, and you've got 48 channels you can choose, so it's either a long press or a short press depending on what you want to change. As you can see, plug and play motor, so yeah, you really like those. Nice and simple, no soldering or anything at all. It comes with a little 200 milliamp hour battery, and this is shorter and stubbier than the other ones. Let me just grab one of my other 250 ones. There we go. So this is the one off some of my other small quads, and I've used it on several of them actually. Usually fits everything, but this one it really doesn't. It will go in and there's a lot of room around, and then you can't actually connect up the power cable, so it's not really going to work here. The only place it could go is to actually sort of velcro it on there, which I might well do actually, because having one battery is a bit of a nightmare. I will see whether I can find any little battery packs or things that perhaps it will fit, and see how I get on. I'll let you know at the end of the review. You've got a USB charger, so you can use a power bank to charge it, or you could use your car, you know, wherever you've got USB power coming out your computer, or a mains adapter obviously. They've got loads of warnings on it everywhere saying, you know, red dot to red dot, which is very good for the charging. And the only place they haven't got it, which I would have thought was more important, is to actually put a red dot on here. If you're going to put it in round the wrong way, if you put that on here, you'll fry your board in a second, sort of thing. It's quite easy to do it the right way. Is there's a little lug that sits up on there. I'm not too sure if the camera will pick that up, but basically a lug there that goes into the slot on the top there, so you can just plug it straight in, and then we go live with it. And there we are. So we got flashing red lights. And then we've also got the green flashing on the transmitter as well. So I'm going to turn on, and there we are. It's an auto bind system, so we're away. That's it. Now the thing I really wanted to get a look at this one is if I press this button here, it then goes into acro mode. So that's going to be really interesting to see what it flies like in acro. When you press the button again with the LEDs on, basically means it's in stabilised. I would have done around the other way. I would have said red for acro, but it's just the way they've done it, so it'd be interesting to see. Oh, by the way, there's no micro USB on the board or anything, so we can't take it into beta flight. We can't alter it at all. You've got your normal sort of trim switches set up, and there's a load of switches on here, that buttons and everything, that just don't do anything at all. This one is for binding, so you press this one if you're not bound to, if it loses its bind for any particular reason. It is an auto bind system, but if it does, or perhaps you could try that on a different quadcopter, I don't know, haven't needed to use it yet. This one that says a calibration button, you press that and it's supposed to calibrate it, and I haven't had the flashing LEDs when I do that, which is usually a sign that it is calibrating. Whether or not it has, I don't know. I haven't had any issues that it's not flying stable, so I can't really check that. I've tried all the other sort of combinations that we do to check for to get it to calibrate, and none of them seem to make the LEDs flash, so perhaps it just calibrates it but it doesn't bother flashing. And then this one with this picture is what they have on the website, and this one's still in Chinese, and I've tried it. I've tried all the buttons, nothing else works apart from the very basics. Okay, so this is my first flight with this, all set up ready to go. Just hand launch,
and I'm flying in stabilised mode this section, and really nice. Just straight away you feel confident with it. It flies, it just feels good actually, and so confident I went through the little alley there, and that's quite a tight one sometimes. From some of the quads I get a little bit nervous going through there, so this one not a problem at all. Its stabilisation, kicked it back up every time, obviously, which is what it's supposed to do. But it wasn't too drastic. You couldn't have a good flying experience, sort of thing. So, to me, I thought it was pretty good. Range was really good. When you consider I'm stood next to a metal garage, it held really well. And like you see, really precise. Apart from when a tree jumps out in front of you, obviously. But no, filled you with confidence to fly, which was what they should do, really. And one thing this one doesn't do, well, it certainly doesn't do it to any extent, is when you actually do a banked turn or you turn really tight and the power can drop off on a lot of the small ducted fanned ones. This one didn't. It sort of kept it going. You didn't have to keep the throttle constantly on, and it recovered really well. If when it was coming up to the sheds and garages a bit rapid, you give it a bit of throttle and it climbs up over. It's no real racer by any means, obviously, but what it does is really good, and I think if you're new to flying, this could be quite a nice quad for that. Alternatively, if you're used to flying and you just want to buzz around and feel confident that you can go through small gaps, then this could well be the one for you. I really enjoyed that flight, so let's now have a go at acro. So I took off in stabilised mode, and then I just flicked it into acro now, and then I just did a quick flip forward just to test it was in acro. It certainly is in acro, and off we go. Rodeo ride! She's absolutely... I don't know what they've done with it, with the expos on it, but you give a little bit of stick and it seems quite nice, and you look as though you're sort of working okay, and all of a sudden she just rocks and rolls, and the recovery is not good on it. You got no smoothness on the sticks, which I had when I was flying it in stabilised mode, so I don't know what on earth they've done. If you keep it really slow and smooth, it's absolutely no problem at all. As you can see, it's just very gentle and everything. But once you go past a very small amount on the stick control, you get this roll, and then it's a real job to get it back. And when you get it back, all it does is lurch back up. You can't sort of pull it back round gently. Yeah, so I don't know what on earth they've done with it, but whatever it is, it's not good. So, glutton for punishment. I don't know if that's the quad or me. I thought, I'll give it another go. What's the worst that could happen? I'm sure it would be, whoa! And that's what happened. It just literally is awful. It's horrible. So much so, as you can see, I'm sort of lolloping all over the place. I actually started to question what I was like, because I haven't actually flown acro for a little while. So I thought, I'll go and grab one of my other quads, and I'll just bung that on, and let's see what happens. So this is a King Kong 130 fly egg. Click into, we're off and away in stabilised, and then you've got to flick it into acro, and straight away totally different experience. Really nice, smooth, controllable, and the stick control comes back when you pull it back gently. You can control how much you're going to get, so a totally different experience. And I wouldn't expect the other one to fly as well as this, but acro should be acro. You should be able to have a bit of control over it, and this just put my confidence back in my flying, because I was really starting to question, my word, I've just lost the plot with the acro. So if you want a nice little flyer with stabilised, then obviously it's absolutely great and super fun and really nice, but it really is an acro one, which is a bit disappointing, because I'm still looking for the ultimate FPV package, a nice kit that someone could just start and then just move into acro as well. Line of sight flight, so you can see how much pitch we get on it. So that's full pitch. This is in stabilised, so it's not that great, you see. So I don't think you need to alter the camera angle. It's got a bit of it on it, but with such a wide angle lens, it really doesn't affect it too much. I didn't have any problems with it, and I was certainly going out at full pitch on it when I was flying it. I'll show you how to get into the to change the lens if that's what you want to do. But yeah, it works fine. It's a nice little precise fly, so if you just wanted to do some serious sort of, if you got the one without the camera on perhaps, and you just wanted to do a little bit of precise stuff, it would go as precise as you like. It's really nice. And then if we go flick it into acro, Whoa! Well, it's rodeo time. Oh yeah, it's not a pleasant experience in acro, that's for sure. Yeah, you can see it sort of lolloping around. No matter how careful I am with it, it seems to sort of lurch. Actually, not too bad. Well, too bad. But it's not a smooth acro flyer, that's for sure. Whoa, and that's what happens if you get slightly overconfident with acro. Yeah, like I said, I just couldn't recover that, no matter what I pulled on that. So, ooh, a very mucky lens. So let's just try it one more time. Yeah, it just suddenly goes. I mean, it's just, and then if you keep it low in very small rates in acro, you know, just small amount of movement, you can just keep it really nice. But it's not doesn't give you confidence when you fly. I'm moving the stick quite a bit and nothing's happening there. Hopefully you can see that. So you've got quite a bit of stick movement and nothing's happening, then all of a sudden you get a tiny bit of movement, and if you keep it within that range it's actually not too bad, but if you just go a little bit more then you get that effect, so it absolutely dies on you. So to explain it, let's just kill that one. So as you're going over, like sort of there, you can go right the way over and absolutely nothing's happening. So you come over to about there and then you start to get a gentle movement and a little bit more, and then once you go that you're sort of getting to the end of the actual stick movement, all of a sudden it will just pitch right over. And of course you've got to come all the way back, and then to get any reaction you've got to come right over here, so that's sort of giving you that sort of lolloping look.
So in summary, what do I think of it? Well, I really enjoyed flying it. It's a great little flyer. Oh, firstly, the astute amongst you, and I'm sure if you're watching the channel you must be totally astute, may notice that I'm flying what looks like a flying zit at the moment with the red and the yellow. That's purely because I broke one prop. Just literally, I can't even find where it was. It went straight in the bin, I think. Yeah, just how I broke it, I don't know. I had a few accidents with it, as you do with the little micros when you're whizzing around places. But it snapped it across there, and they are quite brittle, these. They're quite it's got no flex in them really, which I presume gives us a lot more power, sort of pushing down. There's no deflection as it's working, which is good. I've just popped another load on from a different quad and add some spares anyway, and these are much softer, but I didn't notice a big difference in the performance, to be perfectly honest, at all. I shall try tri-props on it as well, and perhaps do another video with tri-props, but at the moment I'm just keeping it reasonably stock. The reason I had to change them all was a slight different profile. Don't think it would make a lot of difference, to be honest, with my flying skills, but I just replaced them all. It was easier, and really annoyed you only get one set of props with it. So on to the actual flying, and as you saw in stabilised, absolutely superb, really nice. I was whipping it through places, just having a laugh with it. It's just enjoyable flying. Put it into acro and just a nightmare. It just lollops all over the place. So the expos are all totally off. I don't know where they've put them, but I don't think I put them on the transmitter, to be perfectly honest. But apart from that, it all flies really well. The camera could have an angle back on it. It is just totally flat, which is a little bit of a shame. I did have a look at doing it, and I do these little mods every so often, so it's really not too difficult to do. And I'll just pop this open for you so you can just have a look at what's in the belly. And it is just literally these 4 screws here, and then you're into it, sort of thing. And the other thing, I was a little bit annoyed with the fact that the battery bay area, you have to use their sort of size battery. The 200 and the 250s are so common and easy to get hold of. It'd be much better. There we go. So we're in there. And as you can see, quite simply done. It's actually nicely put together. It all seems pretty good, actually. you would have to cut a little bit into there and move it back a bit if you just wanted a little bit of an angle on it. But to be honest, it's quite a wide angle lens. I didn't actually struggle too much with it. I've had worse. So all in all, it would be a great starter kit, so long as you don't ever want to sort of go over into acro, because this would not be a good experience to fly in acro. But it's a nice little product for what it is, if it just needs to stay in stabilised mode. So there we go. Happy flying to everyone, and thanks for watching.